Hi everyone, so nice to see you. Thanks for taking the time to come and check in with me and have a little heart-to-heart chat. It's really nice to be able to sit down here and kind of embark on this conversation that we're about to have. This is one that has been a long time coming. I've been just humming and hawing and mulling over it and not sure if I should do it, should I not do it, you know, do I really feel comfortable doing this? But it came, and I'll explain all this in a second, but it came down to a point where I felt like this conversation needed to be had in order for everyone to move forward. And for myself to move forward, for everything to make sense, for me to kind of stop making excuses about taking hiatus from blogging and what's really been going on. Let's be real here. For those of you who work a day job and then do blogging on the side, it's stressful. And I think it's about time, and I feel more ready to talk to you a little bit more about what my day job actually is, where most of my actual money comes from and I have to focus on, and how that really interacts with the other side of my life, the side that I try to put out to all of you when I create content, whether it's on my blog or chat with you on Instagram or share a video with you. We've been together as online friends, whatever you want to call us. I don't have a cool name for all of us as a group for such a long time that I think this is the right time to have this conversation, and I think I'm going to feel really relieved after this video is just done and filmed. I initially wanted to do this on the weekend where I'm like well rested, I have makeup on, my hair's not frizzy, but I think it's more authentic to do this video now. The sun is setting. I'm going to try to talk as concise as I can so we don't get too dark in here, but this is my 9 to 5 reality. I just got home from work. I am extremely tired. I feel like I say that every single day, and this is what you get Monday to Friday, right? And I think this is a more authentic way to have this conversation with you. So let's roll back a bit. I had almost always been very particular about separating my work life from my blogging life, partially because of my current career choice, which is still a very new one. I've only been in this field for about not even 2 years. I think it's 2 years coming in February of 2019. And it's been stressful. It's been a huge learning curve. This is a second career choice or a switchover from what I did my bachelor's degree in university. Actually, I want you to pause this video right now because this is also something I've never talked about. And if we're going to talk about my real job, let's also talk about this piece. I want to take a moment and number one, have a good guess at what you think I majored in my bachelor's degree. So pause the video, comment below, hit comment, actually, and then also take a guess at what you think my current career is. Like, what do I do for a job? My 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. For those of you who have known me for quite a long time, take your best guess. You put down two options. I'll give you 2 chances. Your first option and your second option. Like, what do you think I do? Knowing my persona, knowing the way I talk and I interact. And now clearly how I talk to you guys is a little bit different than how I would talk to you at work. We have this relationship really established, right? But I would love to know how you think my off-camera life is. I'm kind of really curious. A lot of you have been with me for quite a long time. So comment down below and I'll check up on that. It might be kind of really interesting to hear. But the answer for you, in my bachelor's program, I had actually majored in art history. I had always wanted to do fashion design, and I applied to a really great international school for that. But money was tight. Couldn't afford to send me, over to do that. And be an international student. So my second choice was to do a Bachelor of Arts in Art History with the focus on Western art. there's that part. The career thing didn't quite pan out, but what I actually do right now, and this may or may not surprise you, and you know what, give yourself a pat on the back if you get this right. I'm currently a registered BC teacher, and I have taught in a couple of different positions, but my overarching, like the big category for what I've taught so far is a resource teacher. This might be a different name depending on where you live or where you come from. Resource teachers encompass those who teach English as a second language, as well as those who teach learning support or special resources. Some places call them SPED. I have taught both. I am a bit more experienced in teaching English as a second language. Teaching learning support is quite new for me, and I am kind of in between drowning and bobbling along. And I think, you know, that's the reality for any job, but especially in this position, there's a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of different pieces. You're not necessarily teaching in a classroom. Like for those of you who maybe are not familiar with what a resource teacher does or a learning support teacher does. Sorry, there's a lot of names and acronyms in teaching, and it's complicated. I get it. A learning support teacher will support students with special learning designations. It could be something like a learning disability, or it could be something like a chronic health. It could be autism. It could be deaf and hard of hearing. We support those students either directly, or we support their classroom teachers with materials, and we liaison with district people. We liaison with parents and communicate with parents and really build that support network for the students. Not only for students who are designated with special needs, but also those who are not designated but who do have, you know, greater needs than the average in the classroom, if you will. So that's my job. I don't have my own classroom that I see every single day per se, but I have a set of kids I see often, and I know most of the school because I work with essentially all of the classroom teachers. That's a lot. Not a great elevator spiel. That was probably too long, but that kind of encompasses everything that I do. So that gets back around to the fact that for the longest time, I didn't feel comfortable letting those two parts of my life mingle together. My teaching profession, which is very new to me, and I'm a really new teacher, guys. Like I've only been teaching for a year, almost 2 years. So it'll be 2 years in the beginning of 2019. But I've been really careful about keeping them apart. First of all, because I didn't feel quite comfortable with where this was going and how one part of my life would affect the other. And of course it does, but there is such a certain level of expectation and people's experiences of what a teacher should be, what teachers' opinion should be, their thoughts, their actions, the way they hold themselves, and this extends outside of the classroom. So I was really careful about how my blogging life impacted my professionalism and how people would see me. And I mean, I'm quite young, and for the most part I look quite young in a school setting, so I try so hard to make myself look perhaps a bit more than what I feel on the inside, right? And vice versa. I have, and I still kind of am apprehensive about how my opinions and my life and the content I put out there, how it's going to be judged when people find out that my 9-to-5 job is a teacher. It's a very particular profession that has a lot of associations. I'm going to just say it that way and leave it like very PC. But really, it was getting to a point where, you know, teaching is a job that eats into your personal life. and it's not something necessarily mine, but it's something that definitely just bleeds into your weekends, your, you know, even after school. I'm still thinking about some of my kids and some of my meetings I've had. So those things matter, right? Those things matter to how much energy I have at the end of the day. Whether or not I feel like putting makeup on my face to do a tutorial, because right now those are not my priorities anymore. And I've been blogging for a very, very long time, since I was doing my first degree, like a long time. And you guys have been with me through this whole process. Some of you, we've like have this thing going on, like we know each other in a way. And I think it's a big weight off my chest to be able to talk about this a bit more frankly, even though I don't think I'm ready to speak too much about my teaching life. But the fact that you guys know what I do as my 9 to 5 and how that impacts me, I think it's honest and it's authentic and it's relevant. For the longest time in the past year or so, in particular after I started teaching, I felt that there was a disconnect between the authenticity of what I was putting out there and my motivation to create content. Because my life is no longer about, you know, blush and eyeshadow and eyebrows and stuff like that. Like that is always going to be a hobby of mine, but I'm growing and things are changing, and I had considered, you know, is this the time to stop blogging? But no, it's not. I feel, after many conversations with myself, I feel this is a time for a rebranding in the social media world of vocabulary, rebranding yourself. But really, I wanted an online identity that was more in tune with who I am right now as a person, what my personal goals are, what my vested interests are, what my hobbies are, what my weekends are about, right? Just to be able to be more of my authentic self is so important, because that's the drive. Like, that's the drive and the motivation for me. It's really hard for me to sit here on camera and try to, you know, be something that I'm not. People give that advice all the time, but that's actually extra important for me, because that feeds my motivation, that feeds my drive. It's not time for me to quit yet, but I think it's time for me to find a new identity online. So here's the other part I would love your help on. I would love to revamp and rebrand, or whatever you want to call it, just grow up a little bit more and essentially flesh out and change my entire online name, my blog name, set up a new website platform, move away from what I had been using, which is fine, but it's not super functional. And just spruce things up, make things that feel more like me, especially now that I'm in this apartment and in this space and I feel really good about where I am right now. I think this is the right time to make this change and to make this move. Hence, I would love some of your suggestions and recommendations on a new name. I don't think I'm ready to use my own actual name online yet. I still am very cautious about talking about what I do on the side at work, and I don't think I would ever really want to put it out there as a big deal. So I would like to keep the Google searches down. Although if you really wanted to and you type my name in there, things will pop up because I've done things with magazines and brands and stuff like that. So I definitely don't want to use my name. So I want to use a name for a blog that resonates with me, but at the same time, you know, it's kind of me but a bit different, you know what I mean? You should be seeing a whole bunch of kind of suggestions that I've been brainstorming pop up on the video. Right now, I would love your input on some of them. If you have just an idea that pops into your head, you're like, that would be a cool blog name, and I think that fits you, please leave it down for me below. Would love a lot of help with this. This whole migration thing will take some time, and it's not gonna happen like I'm gonna shut everything down and come back at you 2 weeks later and be like, reveal, this is my brand new sparkly website. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I'm a one-woman running this whole thing, and it's just gonna take time. You know, one day my Instagram handle will change, and the next day my blog name will change. I need to make a new email. I need to get in touch with people to help me migrate all my content. It's a big endeavor, but I think I'm ready, and I think this is the push I need to really grow and feel motivated again, because I'm excited to do things, but I'm excited to do things a little bit differently than how they've been done before. So I hope that this conversation makes a lot of sense and perhaps filled in a lot of gaps for you. If you ever wondered, you know, how my work-life balance goes, it goes exactly like this. I'm always trying to find that good balance, right? And I think with this job in particular, it's definitely challenging, and it creates a lot of anxiety, and I need so much time to self-manage and self-care, and just take that time to cocoon. You know, being an introvert in a extroverted career path, it's very draining. And I think this is a good spot for me to turn off the camera and go feed myself because I'm starving now. But this is the reality of things, guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sitting through this video and conversation. If you've made it this far, I appreciate you. I can't wait to get back into the groove of things. I think this is the change and the push I've really needed to get things going again. I'm hoping that you are excited to see other things to come. Drop me some ideas, your thoughts, your revelations. Was I really the person you thought I was? I would just love to hear that and just talk with you. So looking forward to reading your comments down below. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and I'll see you hopefully very, very soon. Take care. Bye.